Meet Will. He's a 36-year-old guy with a standard office job. Recently, he started taking the long way home. It added 5 minutes to his commute, but he simply didn't care. Why? Because turning that specific corner meant he was just minutes away from a wildly wagging tail behind his front door. That tail belonged to Barley, his loyal mixed breed. Will adopted Barley back when his first apartment felt way too empty. Barley was Will's ride or die for his entire 20s. When Will got fired, Barley was right there. The night Will came home at 3 a.m. holding a pizza box, Barley was patiently waiting. His buddies joked, "You've never gotten as much love from a human as you do from that dog." Will couldn't even argue. It was the absolute truth. But when Barley turned 13, things started to shift. The dog who used to sprint to the door now barely lifted his head. You'd have to call him 3 times to get an ear twitch. His food bowl, usually licked spotless, stayed half full. The ultimate foodie was suddenly skipping all his meals. Then came the night that really shook Will. Barley, who always slept next to Will's bed, suddenly migrated. He curled up in a tight ball next to the noisy washing machine. Will stood there, staring at Barley's back. Before sadness hit him, a massive wave of guilt crashed down. Had he messed up? Was he a terrible owner? The brain loves these games. He spiraled. How many walks did I skip to work late? When he limped, I should have rushed to the vet. Have I just been taking his love and giving absolutely nothing back? If you're watching this, you might be carrying that exact same backpack of guilt. Or maybe, right now, you're listening to the soft breathing of your senior dog next to you. Before we dive into the science, I have a quick question. Wherever you are, drop 2 things in the comments right now, your current city and the exact time it is on your clock. Stick around till the end and it will make sense. If you can, leave your dog's name down there too. Even if they've crossed the rainbow bridge, their name deserves to be seen. Let's follow Will and Barley's journey and ask a big question. Are dogs actually terrified of dying? Is hiding in a dark corner really their way of saying they want to leave you? And what about that miraculous moment, right at the end, when a sick dog suddenly stands up and wags its tail? Is it magic? A glitch in the matrix? What is actually going on? Psychology and neuroscience have crunched the data, and the truth is wildly different from our assumptions. Welcome to Dog Talk. I'm Dr. Ben Parker, your curiosity expert. Today, through Will and Barley's final chapter, we'll decode the scientific language of a dog's goodbye. Hit subscribe, smash the like, and let's explore practical psychology. The first thing Will typed into search was, do dogs know when they are dying? Every night, lying next to Barley, that exact same thought spun around in his head like a wheel. Is he scared right now? Does he understand what's happening to his body? And is he terrified? That specific thought tortured Will more than seeing Barley physically sick. The idea that Barley might be experiencing existential dread was too much. He couldn't stand the thought of his best friend facing the terrifying abyss of mortality all alone. But science offered an answer that shattered Will's worries. In 2021, animal cognitive scientist Dr. Susanna Manso published a groundbreaking concept after years of research. She called it the minimal concept of death. The comforting truth: your dog does not have the abstract dread of "I am going to die someday." They aren't writing sad poetry. Unlike humans who calculate remaining time and panic, dogs don't do that. They don't have a mental calendar counting down days. Their reality is beautifully, blissfully immediate. To a dog, the experience is simply, yesterday I could run, but today my legs are ignoring me. It's an immediate physical sensation, not a deep existential crisis about life. For Barley, the universe consists of exactly what is happening right now. The smell hitting his nose, the sound of the machine, the floor's temperature, that is his whole world. And that wet little snoot is the ultimate supercomputer. It's the actual pathway through which a dog realizes their internal state is changing. Dogs use their noses to know. A dog's nose packs around 300 million olfactory receptors. Humans have a pathetic 6 million. Their sense of smell is 50 times more powerful. They smell in 4D. A 2024 study from the Penn Vet Working Dog Center revealed dogs can detect chemical changes in saliva, identifying cancer and diseases with 99% accuracy. What does this mean for Barley? It means Barley absolutely knew something inside his body was changing. His nose gave him the biological status report loud and clear every minute. But he wasn't labeling that change as death and freaking out. It was simply a sensory reality. My body smells different today, and I feel heavy. That's literally it. Once Will learned this scientific fact, a huge boulder of anxiety rolled off his shoulders. The paralyzing terror Will imagined simply did not exist in Barley's simple universe. But solving one mystery opened another. If Barley wasn't terrified, why did he start avoiding Will? Why abandon the cozy bed to sleep next to a vibrating metal box in the dark? This is where owners feel their hearts shatter. Is my dog mad at me? Did I do something wrong? Are they holding a grudge? It's devastating to feel rejected at the very end. But once you understand the evolutionary reason behind hiding, you won't feel rejected. You'll probably still be sad, but you'll nod and say, "Oh buddy, I totally get it now." For Will, the hardest night was when Barley refused the bed. For years, without skipping a day, that dog slept at Will's feet. It was a universally accepted law of physics. That night, Barley wedged into the dusty gap between the washing machine and the wall. When Will called, Barley just gave a side eye and refused to budge. Stubborn mode on. Will crouched there, staring at him, before giving up and going to his empty bed. He didn't sleep a wink. One dramatic sentence kept looping in his brain on heavy repeat. "Barley is trying to leave me." If you search this, you'll find forums echoing the sentiment. Dogs hide before they die because they want to be alone and spare your feelings. Will read those tragic posts, and it crushed him. He felt his best friend didn't want him around. But science is here to bust that sad myth wide open. It's totally false. In 1988, Dr. Benjamin Hart at UC Davis tracked behavioral patterns of sick animals for decades. He observed the cold, hard data. And his conclusion was absolutely fascinating. When a dog refuses food and curls up in a dark corner, they are not giving up on life. It is the exact opposite. They are launching a massive biological counterattack. Let's break it down. Digesting kibble takes energy, walking takes energy, wagging a tail takes energy. Every single action drains the battery. It's just simple biology math. A sick dog instinctively shuts down non-essential apps. They stop eating, moving, and reacting. Why? To reroute every drop of available power directly to their immune system. To the owner, the dog looks lethargic. But inside Barley's body, it was an epic, microscopic battlefield. He was scraping together his last reserves of energy to fight hard. It wasn't surrender, it was a hardcore battle. And hiding in the corner? He wasn't pushing Will away. This behavior is an ancient instinct, hardwired from their wild wolf days. In the brutal wild, a sick wolf is a massive liability to the pack. A weak member attracts hungry predators, putting the entire family in grave danger. It's a harsh reality. So, what does a sick wolf do? It voluntarily leaves the pack and finds a hidden spot to camouflage itself. It removes the target from the family's back to protect the pack. Barley marching to the washing machine had nothing to do with disliking Will. It was a primal instinct etched into his bones. The root of that instinct is profound loyalty. To Barley, Will wasn't just a guy. Will was his entire pack. Isn't it wonderfully ironic? The action that looks like abandonment is actually driven by a desire to protect you. Now, not every dog goes ninja mode. Some become Velcro dogs. A dog that loves independence might suddenly refuse to leave your lap or follow you directly into the bathroom. They'll rest their chin on your foot and close their eyes. This is another instinct. When the world feels unstable, they seek out the absolute safest place on the entire earth. For Barley, the gap by the machine was a bunker. For a Velcro dog, the owner's lap is an impenetrable fortress. Whether they hide or cling, the ultimate conclusion is the same. Final behaviors are never about resentment. The hiding dog protects you from predators. The clinging dog relies on you as a shield. Either way, you are their universe center. Will figured this out way later. I thought Barley was pushing me away, but he was actually thinking about my safety until the very end. Cue the absolute waterworks, right? Then, there's the most mind-boggling phenomenon. After 3 days of barely moving, Barley suddenly woke up and stood up. Wobbly, sure, but he walked right into the kitchen. He stood in front of his bowl, drank water, waddled to the front door, and wagged his tail. Will thought his heart would explode. He's cured! It's an absolute medical miracle! Will scrambled to call the vet, vibrating with excitement, but the vet took a deep breath and gently popped the bubble. Will, that might not be recovery. It's the final rally. The final rally, or terminal lucidity. It leaves scientists scratching their heads. In a 2023 study of 114 cases, this sudden burst of energy wasn't just a random fluke at all. A University of Michigan research team cracked the code. Right before cardiac arrest, there is an explosive surge of high-frequency gamma brain waves in the brain's occipital lobe. It's as if the brain, right before shutting down, throws one last spectacular fireworks show. It's the physiological equivalent of a light bulb burning brightest before burning out. The brain triggers a highly organized, hyper-connected state of activity. It's a final, glorious surge of power. And what does a dog choose to do with this fleeting, ultimate energy? They use it to eat their favorite snack one last time. They visit their favorite spot in the house. Most importantly, they walk up to every family member and look them in the eyes. When Barley waddled to the door and wagged his tail, he wasn't magically cured. He was gathering every microscopic drop of remaining energy to say a proper goodbye to his friend. Evolution granted him a tiny window of time for a final salute, and Barley chose to spend it looking at Will. If you have a lump in your throat right now, you are definitely not alone. Maybe you're realizing, wow, that's exactly what my dog did. It's bittersweet. Now, let's talk about the aftermath, the emotions that hit Will, and why science says it's normal. The morning after Barley passed, Will woke up to his alarm. Out of a decade-long habit, his foot reached out to find the warm, furry lump at the end of the bed. Just cold air. It hit him like a freight train. Barley was gone. Walking out the front door without a wet nose trying to wedge its way through the crack felt fundamentally wrong. Too quiet. Later, Will was eating a sad desk sandwich at work when he suddenly started crying. He hid in the bathroom stall. A coworker noticed and asked, "Hey man, is everything okay?" Will sniffled, "No, my dog died." The coworker delivered the worst response. "Oh, bummer. Well, you should just get a new puppy." That single sentence made Will feel way worse. Will totally shut down. He stopped talking about Barley. Every time he tried to express grief, people threw unhelpful cliches. "It's just a dog. Time heals all wounds." Will gaslit himself. Am I being unreasonable? Am I losing my mind over an animal? Is it pathetic to be this destroyed? Have you ever felt that exact same isolating feeling? Losing your furry best friend is agonizing. But society forces you to swallow that pain. You end up scrolling through old photos at 2 a.m., crying in secret. Neuroscience disagrees. Neuroscience is screaming, your grief is absolutely not an overreaction. Your brain is hardwired to react this way. A Harvard team used brain imaging technology to prove it. They discovered something that makes total sense. When a mother looks at her child and an owner looks at their dog, the exact same regions of the brain light up like a tree. The amygdala for emotion, the orbitofrontal cortex for reward, the dorsal striatum for habitual bonds. All three of these heavy hitters fire up equally for a baby and a fur baby. Your brain does not care if the object of your affection has 2 legs or 4. Love is love neurologically. When you lose them, the magnitude of the pain is biologically identical. Will falling apart wasn't dramatic. It was his brain functioning exactly as designed. His brain registered the absolute loss of a primary family member. Period. End of story. Millions of owners silently carry this load. In psychology, it's called disenfranchised grief. It means a profound sorrow that society stubbornly refuses to formally acknowledge. There are no official funerals for dogs. No bereavement leave. You're told it's just a dog and expected to work. It's a grief forced into hiding, making it harder to process. Dr. Philip Hyland's research shows 75% of owners experience anticipatory grief while their pet is alive. It starts when you notice gray hairs or a slower walk. From the day Barley didn't finish his food, Will was mourning. That's anticipatory grief. Studies show even months later, owners experience delayed grief disorder. It sneaks up. 3 months later, Will was walking home. Without thinking, he turned down that alleyway. Halfway down, he realized there was absolutely zero reason to take the long way anymore. That realization hit so hard, his legs literally gave out. 3 months later, the physical reality crashed into him. I'm telling you this story for one massive, important reason. The intense sadness you feel, or fear feeling, is not an exaggeration. It's not silly. Your brain is literally producing hard scientific evidence that your precious dog was family. Your dog occupied the exact same neurological real estate as a human child. When that space goes vacant, it is scientifically guaranteed to hurt. Pain is the receipt for immense love. That grief is beautiful, painful proof that you are an entire universe to a living creature. Let's wrap up Will and Barley's story. All scientific data points to one conclusion. Rewind to the final behaviors hiding in the laundry room, clinging to your leg. The final rally, every single one of them is directed entirely at you, the owner. It's all for you. A dog's brain is not hardwired to remember pain. What is deeply etched into their neural pathways are memories of joy, the route of walks, the exact texture of the shared blanket, the cool breeze on the porch. These are neural networks of absolute happiness. In veterinary science, this massive collection of positive memories is the animal's welfare history. Every walk, every gentle scratch, every dropped piece of cheese you let them clean up, it gets permanently recorded. It builds a massive, beautiful bank account of peace and contentment. In their last moments, the simple fact that you are sitting right there is the final crucial entry in that history. Your presence completes their neurochemical peace. Ultimate comfort. Will still takes the long way home sometimes. It adds 5 minutes. Even though he won't hear that helicopter tail against the door, walking that path reminds him of something vital. Barley taught him a profound lesson. A creature that knows it is deeply loved does not feel fear, even at the end. Love is a shield against the dark. Giving that love is enough. It is a perfect transaction of souls. So, as you watch this, is there a specific furry face popping into your mind? Maybe they are snoring on the rug, dreaming of chasing rabbits. Or maybe they crossed the rainbow bridge and are waiting for you. Whichever it is, know this. It is totally okay to grieve. Grieve as loudly and long as you need. Don't be rushed. Miss them with your whole chest. That heavy emotion is the highest honor you can pay. It is the honorable tax for having been an entire universe to an innocent soul, a price worth paying. Earlier, I asked you to drop your city and the current time in the comments. Why? Because I want you to scroll down right now and look at those comments. Look at the timestamps. You will see that right at this exact second, someone across the world is feeling the exact same thing you are. You are absolutely not alone. An invisible community stands beside you. We are sharing these beautiful memories, and I hope this space brings you comfort. I'm going to read through the names of your dogs in the comments. Gathering their names is a tribute. It proves they existed, they were loved, and they mattered. That's all for today's deep dive. I hope understanding the science behind the goodbye brings peace. Knowledge is comfort. I'm Dr. Ben Parker, and this has been Dog Talk. We'll be back next time with more heartwarming psychology. Until then, give your dog an extra treat for me, and stay curious. Take care.